Hi, everyone. So today we're going to be talking to Kirsten and Antonello, who are part of the beta testing group. So we're doing the cellular regeneration work and seeing what's happening with these two lovely people. So we are not through it yet. We are still learning. We are still growing, but I thought it was important to just show our progress and what's going on. So we just know what's going on and it's well documented. And then anyone else who's interested in getting involved in beta testing, then you know what's going on, and also just to document it in time so we can have a clue. I am going to show some pictures of me afterwards because obviously Lisa and I are the furthest through, and I wanted to show people what's happening to my face because I've taken some pictures from last year and I've got them saved on my computer, so I'm ready to share those so you can see what's happening to my face, because I think that's the most major thing happening to me. But we have two of our beta testers, so we're just going to see what's happening. So I think the major thing that people have experienced is an increase in bandwidth. Now, bandwidth is something which I'll explain because I think I might have coined the phrase. Some people understand it, some people don't. But intrinsically, it means more space to do different things. So think about it in terms of internet. So bandwidth is about downloading, say, a movie and being able to download it fast and be able to get a lot of data through. That's what bandwidth really means. But in terms of humans, it just means more space to be able to tackle different tasks. So one of the things that I've noticed, and I'm sure anyone watching may have noticed as well, you just have less energy as you get older. And that is just something true of anyone. So doing multiple things on a day, seeing lots of different people, fitting in your job with your social life, with your family life, with anything else on top is often quite overwhelming. And then you're like thinking, goodness, spring cleaning, tidy up the house. And there are jobs that one doesn't get to. There are hobbies that one doesn't take up. There are lots of things that no one gets to, which in your 20s, maybe you had the ability, or you might have, it wouldn't have bothered you being able to open up a cupboard and go, oh, well, that needs sorting, and then just opening it up and then just doing it. Whereas when you get a bit tighter and a bit older and a bit more overwhelmed with life, those sorts of jobs just don't get done, intrinsically don't get done, or you are just making less plans and making sure that you're just doing less things in a day. So I think that's one of the major things that's happening to people as one of the first effects. We're not through it yet. It's not done. We are still in this beta testing stage. I'm going to top everybody up as well and make sure that everyone is doing their maximum. But I just sort of want to do a big check-in and see where everyone was. So Antonello, just tell me about your bandwidth. Has that increased? I know that you've taken up a new sport, which is unusual if someone in our age taking up an entirely new sport, especially when you haven't been that well.
Yeah. Well, it's been, a bit extreme sport. So it's like similar to kite flying, kite surfing. But it's a new sport.
Is it foiling or is it something new?
Foiling, yeah.
Yeah.
Wing foiling with the surf.
It looks really difficult. I see people doing it out of my bedroom window because I live by the sea. I'm going to get an e-foil because I think that one is going to be really fun. I'm probably going to get one of those soon.
Yeah, I'm just practicing. So it's, exciting.
So I think that you've had a bit more space to do new jobs as well. I don't know. Your wife was saying that, you've been very social and able to go and see a lot of people, do a lot of new things, take on a new hobby. Is this right?
Yes.
And before you would have not done that, or what's your situation? Or less
well,
likely?
Before I was just making myself a bit too busy. So no time to do other stuff. So I slowed down that, and I'm trying to do other things as well.
But do you have more energy, or is it the same?
Energy level is the same. Yeah. I am resting a bit more, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're resting a bit more, but then you still got the scope to do new things, or not really? Well, you are doing this new sport.
Sorry, say again?
But you're able to take on new challenges, though. There is something different about being able to take on new challenges.
Well, I'm kind of slowed down with work and, doing other things as well. So if I keep working, I won't have time to do other things as well. So I'm kind of resting a little bit more and doing, less work and take this new sport on board.
Okay. Interesting. Kirsten, what
Yeah.
about you? What's happened with you?
I do definitely feel more energy, but I feel like my body has been, so after our initial session, I feel like my body then has been using that energy to repair
Right.
internally. So because I've got the parasites that I've been dealing with.
Oh, yes. Tell us your story a bit more. Let's get into that.
Yeah, so I've been dealing with parasites for a couple of years now, and it really had presented itself as Epstein-Barr virus. And I was having a lot of, well, I didn't feel good. And I was having a lot of joint pain. Inflammation has been huge, like all over body inflammation, but just autoimmune stuff. And I'd been to a naturopath, and we've done a heavy metals cleanse, done a parasite detox. And I had a period of time where I was feeling really good. And then I was, I don't know if we want to say this or not, but the vaccine shedding really triggered it again.
We'll just call it shedding. We won't use the V word again. That's okay. We can use it once. We just don't use it lots of times. That's how we get away from it.
So the shedding really, really kicked it into overdrive. And I have always been a very energetic person, and I've always just get a lot done in a day. Mm-hmm. And I would have to pick and choose what I was doing, because I was so cold. I just didn't have the energy, or my hands would ache. I couldn't garden. I couldn't do the things that I love to do. So anyway, I fast forward after we did our initial healing session. Mm-hmm. So I do sway testing, and a day or two after we did that initial healing, and then we did the cellular regenerate, or the voltage up increase. Mm-hmm. I was asking questions, and I got that the parasites were dead, gone, like not gone from my body, but everything was dead. And they go in phases. So you've got your eggs, and you've got your young, and I was shocked. So then my body's just been working and repairing internally. And I think it was like a couple of weeks of repair. But during that whole time, I've had great energy. And I can totally tell a difference, able to do things that I wasn't doing before, and getting so much done in a day. And the other thing that I noticed too, it's just made me so much more happy that I can do all these things that I love to do, and to look forward to going out with friends and not going, okay, well, that's the only thing I can do today. Right? So I can work in the garden, I can work in the office, I could go shopping, I can meet people for lunch, I could come home, I can make dinner, I can do all those things. And so that's just been a huge change for me.
That's beautiful. How are your hands feeling? Is there a difference in your body and hands and things?
Yeah, the part of it, I think I was really trying to kind of direct my healing. Like, okay, body, you've got all this energy, so let's fix this. And I had to let that go and say, well, body, you know what to do best. So it's just been doing like the internal repair. And again, like I said, I do the sway testing. So asking about, like, it's just my, the energy's been going to just repair the damage from the parasites. So in the liver and the kidneys and gallbladder and small intestine, large intestine, all of that stuff. And I think we just kind of turned a corner maybe a couple of days ago, and I felt my energy level shoot up again.
Uh-huh.
So it was being used over here, and now it's kind of back. So my hands feel great. My I have a lot of rheumatoid arthritis in my hips and my lower back,
which is often to do with, often related to parasites for everyone watching. It can be a parasite situation.
Yes, I fully believe it's all parasite for me.
Yeah.
Everything gone on. And the rheumatoid arthritis is gone. My joints are feeling great. Occasionally I'll have a little aching here and there. And when I ask, that is just my body's continuing to flush out the toxins from the dead parasites.
Mm.
So it's been working on that. First, it was initial internal repair. And then it's been working on flushing everything out of my body. And so I feel like it's almost done with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
where we are with it, it's quite interesting because it looks like, because everything's changing, where this is a very fluid thing, and I'm just trying to track what the heck is going on. So, I mean, Antonello, you haven't been very well recently. So I think a lot of what's happening to you and to anyone who's coming from a quite an unwell place is that it's always directing to the place which is the most sick within our body, the bit that needs it the most. It seems to be directing there, and then it goes to other places which are sort of less important, as it were, as it repairs these bits, these other bits. So that's really interesting, because I keep seeing it in little test tubes. It's like it's filling up this bit, then it's filling up this bit, and then sort of it's almost like the whole system gets full, and then it sort of compresses down, and then it goes and works on this thing and this thing and this thing. So it's really interesting to see what's been going on. But I think parasites might be one of the, they're very interrelated with many, many different illnesses that people have. It's very, very common. So it's interesting that your parasites, you think, have just vanished, and not something you've been battling for several years, because parasites are really, really tricky. They're just really, really tricky to get rid of, because as you said, that they have all these cycles, and then they hatch, and then you can't get to them. Energetically, it's been impossible for me to, well, it's very difficult to do them, because you have to do something which you keep working on them. You have to have a program which is continually working, because what happens is, as soon as they've hatched, and this is how I see it energetically, I think it does work in the physical, but you can't access them energetically to get rid of them when they're eggs, because they've got a hard shell around them. And as soon as they hatch, then they start multiplying and multiplying and multiplying. So you've got to make sure you get them in that very, very short time before they start multiplying, which I think is only a couple of seconds or minutes, at least in the energetic version it is. And so you have to have something constantly going. Otherwise, some of the parasite cleanses don't get you all the way through. And the problem with that is, if there's a tiny weeny bit left, you're in trouble, because it keeps on going again. It just starts repeating. And this is one of the things that I found difficult with pathogens in general, because if you don't get the whole thing, and same as viruses, any pathogen, virus, fungus, bacteria, or parasite is what a pathogen is. If you don't get to the whole thing, then unfortunately it just goes down, but then it will just start rapidly multiplying. So it's really irritating and been difficult. So that was, it's beautiful that you're having those sorts of results, because that is different and new, and it was unexpected. But I'm not sure, we're not sure where it's going to go, how all this is working and what's going on. I can just, working on various different people who've had interesting different things happening. So yeah. Anything else that you've had, Antonello? So, it doesn't sound like much has happened, but this is what's going on. I just, we have to be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Different people, and just, we don't know. This is an experiment, and that's it.
Yeah, of course. It might take time. It might, we don't know. I mean, of course, it's been worth it to try and see, where we're gonna go.
Are you feeling healthier or different? Do you want to talk about your condition, or do you want to keep that private? I don't know how much you want to explain.
I'm feeling the same. I mean, I've been doing parasite treatment as well for the last more than a year, different things. And so I don't know if I've got any parasite or no, because it's been going on now. Yeah, for more than a year, I've been doing different treatments. So I presume I don't have any, or maybe, I don't know. So
They're quite difficult to get rid of. Yeah, they're just quite, I can't see any now. If I tune in on them, there doesn't seem that there are. But I don't know. I haven't tuned into you before, so I don't know if you had them before.
Okay. All right. Well, I do know that parasites they show up. I mean, they can see parasite as how do you say, as a type of cancer of oh God. You know, the lumps and the things, they call it oh God, it's gone out of my mind now.
Tumors.
Tumors, yeah.
Yeah. We have to be careful about talking about the C word on videos as well. Just FYI. Yeah, but yeah, so just to call it the C word from now on, and the T word if you don't mind.
Okay, all right. So so yeah, that's why I've been doing it for the last more than a year.
Yeah.
Different type of treatments.
I mean, there's a lot of debate about what they are. You know, some people think that there's a fungus element to sometimes the T's as well. It's difficult to know, really. But could be a parasite element. I think parasites are largely about a lot of illnesses have a huge parasite component.
I agree.
Potentially everything, yes. We're not entirely sure. I wouldn't want to stake anything on that, but that's a potential. But yeah, not everything. I think a lot of things.
I think a lot too. And I think that one of the things, to maybe be on the woo-woo side of it, I think that one of the things is that we can inherit the parasites. Like they can come in through birth. And also, well, I think that the energetic stuff that we did was part of what was holding the parasites.
I think that they can only be in certain environments. I do think that they are largely responsible for a lot of different illnesses. They're not responsible necessarily, but a component in many different illnesses. But I think there has to be an environment which allows them to exist. So I think that when we are stuck in a lot of trauma and we're very upset and we've had lots of hardships happen to us, I think that's their sort of breeding ground. So I think that if we are emotionally very have dealt with our history and are in a good place emotionally and really have done the work and really have let go of anything that might be upsetting us or any traumas from the past, then I think it's harder for them to breed and maintain. So I think that they are a component, but I think that the trauma is the most major part of any illness.
Right. So, yeah. And I agree. And when we did that work together, I think that was a huge part of that helped a lot.
Because I just don't think the environment was there. We have to also think about how do things grow. And in general, you know, like if you need the right environment for various different things to grow. And if you have a toxic environment, so it may be that it's making it energetically just yucky in some capacity, and that yuckiness might be what the parasites feed on or they feel comfortable in. And I just think that I think there's like energetic parasites as well as physical parasites. So if you get rid of the energetic parasites, it's probably the life force in some capacity to the physical parasites. So I don't think they can really exist without one another. I think that they're in two forms. So as soon as the emotional stuff's out of the way, it certainly makes it a harder environment for the parasites to survive in.
Right. And then doing the upgrade with
Yeah.
the voltage, that just has given my body the energy that it needs
Yeah.
to heal everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you've been feeling happier as well? Much
Mhm.
happier and more upbeat, and everything's easier?
But much more optimistic, and just like a get shit done attitude. Let's just get it done, you know? Yeah. And I think that's where you're talking about the bandwidth, because it's things that maybe it's not my favorite thing to do,
Yeah,
but I'm not thinking twice about it. I'm just doing it.
that's good.
That's amazing.
Antonello, anything similar or not really?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I'm feeling a bit lighter on thinking more positive and yeah.
You didn't say
things
that on
like
camera, I don't think. So just repeat, you said that off camera before we started. So do you want to tell people about that, please?
to feel, to think more positive about my situation. And as I said at the beginning, when I feel to think the negative side, I quickly change it into my positive side.
So you're thinking about something upsetting, about your illness, and then quickly it just comes away from your head.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
See, I think that's quite interesting.
So for that, on that case, I think it did improve. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's interesting, there are different components to this, because obviously I worked on both of you. And we did the emotional stuff, and deleting and dissolving emotional trauma is my bread and butter. I've been doing that for 20 years nearly. Like, I'm good at that. That's consistent. It's every time I do it, it works. What the new stuff is a cellular regeneration. And I'm just trying to see where it's working in people's bodies. And because you've had an illness which has been throughout your body. So I'm just, it's like, how quickly does it infiltrate into the physical? How does this all shift? What does it do? And so it's, you're one of the more sick people that we've worked on paper. So it's interesting to see that, that's pretty similar, but you're more uplifted. But I do think it's interesting starting a new hobby, because I just think the bandwidth to go and take on something entirely different is it's unusual for people who are in their 40s and beyond to really take in new hobbies, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, and especially some extreme crazy sport, which looks super fun, by the way. I'm gonna definitely try it. I'm so bad. I'm like trying to surf all the time, but I'm just not very good at it. I
thought would it be nice for me to just take my mind into a different level and yeah, excitement.
Yeah, but it's an unusual thing to do. And I think your wife was also mentioning that, you were able to see people at the weekends a bit more and do a few more social things and be a bit more outgoing, whereas before you were a bit stuck.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
See, I think this is bandwidth. See, it's kind of subtle, but then it's not. I know that you said that, you haven't been working so hard, and also, choosing what to focus on is an important thing. But, if you're able to be a bit more social and take on a new hobby, I think that's a really good example of bandwidth, because these are not things that are that easy to do. And, like Kirsten was saying, being able to go do this and lunch and then, all these different jobs in one single day, which is difficult to do. Have you had that as well, Antonello, or not really? A bit. Well, you have, because you have.
Yeah, I have a bit. That's what I said. I mean, I just I had to slow down a bit, step back a bit from the work and put more of my energy into myself, into things that make me feel good, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to get overwhelmed and bogged down by work and responsibilities and things like that. So if we can open that up at all, it's interesting.
Yes.
So we'll have to see what's going on with everyone's illnesses. But I'm interested, Kirsten, that your arthritis seems to be no more, or much, much better.
Yeah. And the joint pain, that I would get depending on what I was doing. Like I love to garden, and I would go dig in the garden for a while, and then my hands would just ache so bad.
Right.
Then, you know, what do you do? It was very frustrating. So being able to, and it's funny because it's subtle in a way, and I have to go, oh, wait a minute. This is what I've done all day, and my hands don't hurt, and I can go do it again tomorrow.
Right.
I feel like it's with the feeling that I'm getting in my body is, I just feel more optimistic. I feel like my body is healing from slowly and surely from all of this stuff and repairing itself. And it's just made me happy. It's made me feel happier and more optimistic, for sure.
Has anyone noticed any changes in your, I don't know, Lisa noticed that she was less tired in her body. I don't know. I mean, Antonella's been having some, you know, doing new sports. So you would expect to have delayed onset muscle soreness from taking on a new sport. Have you noticed that be any better or anything like that? Because Lisa was noticing she was walking 6 miles in New York City and wasn't aching from doing that, which I thought was quite interesting. Or have you had...
Well, no, my body is feeling good. Actually, I did, well, I think it was Thursday. I twist my ankle, and I couldn't put my feet down for a day and a half. I couldn't at all.
Yeah.
But within 3 days, yeah, I'm back on to do what I was doing.
That's quite fast. Yeah.
So, and I was actually quite concerned because the foot there, I already injured 2 times. And I thought, oh my God, I hope. And last time to recover took me 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I couldn't walk for a long time. I mean, for 2 months, I couldn't really walk. I couldn't put it on the floor.
Wow.
So I was actually, oh my God, I hope it's not going to be the same thing. And no, within 3 days, I'm kind of back to normal.
That's pretty good. I think
Yeah.
that's a good one to mention. That's pretty good. I like that one because some of the things haven't been happening as quickly. I think it's working on, I think there's a lot to do in your system and it's doing things a little slowly just because it's working on so many different points simultaneously. But something which was taking 3 days to heal as opposed to 2 months is pretty significant.
I think, yes, that was quite, yeah. In fact, I said to Bardina, I'm very pleased. I'm back to normal because I was very worried from the previous injury.
I think that's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Because I think those are showing up faster. Yeah, it's reprogramming and resetting people's bodies on a huge level. So I think that's really interesting. The one that I've noticed the most, because my body's in good shape, you know, I'm doing energy work the whole time. I've been doing it for 20 years, but I think my face is quite noticeable. So I'm going to show some pictures of my face and you guys can tell me if I'm tripping.
I did see if they have the same one, but didn't show them to me.
I've got some more. I pulled some up just a
okay.
minute ago. I'm just going to show them on the screen. Hey, so we're back. I had to change computers because I don't know how my beautiful new Mac works. So, and I know how this one works. So I'm just trying to be fancy and get a Mac. So I'm just going to do screen share here because I know how this works. So I've got this one here. So can everyone see that, my picture?
Yep.
And we'll zoom in. Can you see a difference in my eyes? Around my eyes here?
Mm-hmm.
That bit specifically and around my nose, I think is quite noticeable. So I'm just going to pull that face. Can you see both?
Okay.
So this is the recent
This
picture.
is before. No, this is before. This is a before picture. So I'm just going to show you a few before pictures compared to me live. So this is a picture from a few months ago. So I just want to sort of see the difference in my face. So this one's another one, and it's just really good lighting, but you can see, I think that one of the more noticeable one is around my nose.
Mhm.
And I think my lips are thicker, and I think around my eyes, I've got less of a hood around my eye there. And I think this bit has gone down and this bit has gone down quite significantly. And these are a lot less pronounced. Can you guys see the difference?
Mhm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this one is another one where I'll pull the face, and yeah, it's like, I just think it's quite a lot around here. And I think these are bigger. So I think it's really quite interesting. And that one, I've got quite a lot of lines on my face, so you can see them. I just don't think
Yeah.
I've got them in the same way that I do now. We'll go back to my
Mhm.
face now, and you can see underneath my eyes there. And I think the ones under around my nose are the most noticeable, but certainly around my eyes, and my lips, as I said, are thinner. And there's another one, so you can see what's going on underneath my eyes there. So I'm just gonna, and there's another one where you can see quite a lot going on underneath my eyes. So I'm gonna pull some faces now and just so you can see the difference. So if I do that, it's just not the same. Like,
Mhm.
can you see the difference? Like, the lighting is not, I'm gonna turn off the special studio lighting that I have, so you can see it without that. And it's just, can you see like the lines underneath there? Can you see the
Yeah.
difference?
It's a little bit hard here because the picture's small, but I could tell earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like these, the lines at the side, even when I do a big smile, they're less pronounced. I think under the eyes are less pronounced, and I think my lips are quite a lot thicker. So
Mhm.
kind of looks like I've had some work done.
Yeah. You know, one thing I will say, Antonia, is that even if I know my the energy for my body right now is all in repair mode,
Yeah,
which is great. But there's something that I just feel like things are shifting inside of me.
right.
I feel like, you know, I've got a lot of wrinkles and a lot of skin texture stuff going on with age and all of that. So I just feel though like something is starting to percolate a little bit, or I feel like something is, you know, like you said, Lisa felt with her finger,
Yeah.
like she could
Feel
feel
it
it with,
every day. Like every day she feels like things have
yeah,
changed internally. Yeah.
right. And that's how I feel like it's just a knowing. It's not something I can totally pinpoint, but I just feel like internal, there's just repair work going on and there's rejuvenation going on that I just, on some level, I just know is happening. It's weird. So, and I keep doing the pictures once a week. So we'll see
Yeah.
what
I
after
notice
this.
it every few days. Like, I wake up and I'm like, ooh, my lines have gone a little bit, or my lip feels, and I sometimes feel like my lip just feels like it's, I don't know, like really inflamed or something. It feels really weird, like I've like pumped it up or something. It's like I've had some, work done, I guess. But it's interesting because there's a youthfulness to it. And it was, I mean, this morning I walked down to a local cafe and I bumped into a friend there, and I'd just been working out and I hadn't brushed my hair yet, and it was just scraped back and I was not looking my best. My friend was like, you look great. She hasn't seen me for a few months. And I was thinking, ooh, I wonder if that's this new work, because I certainly had made no effort at that point in the day. But I'm noticing it. I think there's more a youthful glow as well to me, which I think is part of it. So are you feeling that you're getting healthier? I mean, Antonello, you are, I mean, apart from your like borderline miraculous ankle recovery, which I think that's pretty spectacular, from 2 months to 3 days. That is pretty outrageous, to be honest.
Yes.
Anything else? Are you feeling like you're getting better internally? Like Kirsten's got a sense of actually healing and becoming more well, or is that not something you can pick up on particularly?
No, not particularly. No, I have to be honest, I didn't feel anything. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think the ankle is
I think,
good.
yeah.
That's the most outrageous recovery, to be honest. That's pretty good, so that's amazing. Yeah. All right. Go on.
Yeah, sorry to cut in. A few days ago, I was cooking
Sure.
and I burned my finger here, and I burned my finger here. And it was like I caught something that had been in the oven, and you know how you just react,
Yeah.
and then, oh crap, that I burned myself really bad.
Yeah.
The next day it was gone. I could feel just a little kind of a ridge, but it was gone. It never blistered. And it didn't, like, I thought it was going to be bad for a few days. And when you were just talking about things repairing faster, I thought of that. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
I wonder I mean, it's so difficult to know, like, whether it's skin first, or I think it does look like these little tubes, though, that it's doing different parts at different times. And there's a lot to recover, even if we do have the cellular voltage, you know, at fetus level, which it looks like it is, but then there's certain levels which are much lower. But it's interesting to know what's happening in different places at different times. And, you know, the whole thing's just pretty interesting and wild about what the potential is. But I definitely think it's going to some of the worst areas first, for sure. But then again, maybe then it almost goes, oh, shoot, there's an emergency. And then it goes to the damaged, you know, sudden damaged area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that.
You know, that suddenly becomes the emergency, doesn't it? Whereas everything else, which is working on, is a bit more of a slow burner.
Yeah.
Don't know. Well, it's
maybe it's like that.
I don't know. The thing is, this is an experiment. We are in beta testing. We don't really know, but it seems like it's helping. I mean, everyone who's had it has had some level of help. You know, it seems to be, you know, making people feel, well, I mean, the trauma stuff is going to make people feel more uplifted anyway, but it does seem to be having some sort of effects on everybody to the positive. So, and then, you know, and it's an ongoing thing. So I think it'll work on the bits which are really damaged first, and then it will get to other things which are in more of a need, you know, which are more superficial, like the face stuff is really nice to be able to notice things disappear on my face and wrinkles and things, but it's probably not that important in the grand scheme of things when people are sickly. But you know, certainly I like it. I think most people will. But for me, it's the energy levels. You know, I think that I've got a lot more energy, but it's quite strange at the moment because there's a lot of solar activity. There's a lot of strange things going on at the moment in the planet. So, you know, that is a bit up and down, but I am noticing that I've just got more, I feel like I've got more life force and more sort of waking up in the morning and able to train more, because I haven't been able to do much exercise for a while. And that's been quite significant, that I'm sort of waking up with the motivation to want to train. Because a lot of my life force is taken by doing crazy magic. So, you know, having the energy to be able to train is quite significant for me. So that's quite exciting, you know, and wanting to take care of yourself. You know, I think that's one of the things that Antonello has as well. Like that is a level of bandwidth, like self-care and wanting to take care of yourself. I think when you're not very well or not very happy, that falls by the wayside. And now you seem to be both of you seem to be making yourselves a bit more of a priority, and actually less overwhelmed and more focused on, right, what can I do to make sure that it's working well? Yeah. Because I do think that is lost. You know, the more overwhelmed and the more busy we get, the less space we have for ourselves. And then when you're actually feeling strong, you're like, right, I'm going to set some boundaries, right? I'm going to make sure that I'm doing everything and everything's a bit more structured and I've got time for myself. But when you're feeling overwhelmed, you're just overwhelmed and you're just almost like just going through the motions somewhat.
Yeah.
So I think that's bandwidth, you know, just having the motivation to change things is bandwidth, you know, and structuring and making sure that you're more organized and maybe you're being a bit more productive. You know, it may be, you know, when you can work less if you're being more productive in the time which you are working without actually your work falling away. You know, that's quite an important side of it as well. Yeah. Which I think is cool. Anything else you guys want to add to this? Anything else? Or because it's about it.
I can't think of anything. I'm keeping notes on everything, and I do
Keep
my
notes. Yeah, we'll keep doing pictures and notes, and we'll see where everyone is in a couple of weeks. We've got more people in the beta testing, and we're going to do another video with them next week. So if anyone is interested, I'm going to put the details below. I am charging for what I normally charge for an hour, which is $9.99, and you can be a part of the beta testing group, but it seems to be working. And if you do have an illness, and I do work on the illness as well, because I want to see what the scope is to do that. So I do the emotional side of it as well. So let me know if you want to be part of the beta testing. Everything's going to be down in the video below, but it's just bookings with Antonia, and it's a 50-minute session if anyone does want to book in. All right, well, let's leave it there. And yeah, let me know if you think my face looks younger. I do.
Yes.
I do. So, you know, I just think that's weird, and I can't really be faking it when I'm on a video, like, you know, like I'm doing big smiles and things, and I'm noticing it in the mirror. I keep noticing things in the mirror. So as I said, I am further down the road than other people, but everyone seems to be having some sort of like very helpful effect on them. So thank you everyone for watching. See you later.
Bye.